Oh yeah!
Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Planet Coaster 2 with Cookie Pirate. Today we are just gonna hang out in the Viking Park for a bit. We might change it up a little bit later, but at least we're gonna get started. And depending on what we do and how much we get into it, might just stick with this park this evening. I don't know how long of a stream it's gonna be. I don't really have anything planned. And we haven't spent a lot of time in this park lately, so I figured it would just be nice to kind of return to it. Maybe try to accomplish some things in the park. It's largely filled out. We do have a little bit of room, and then some various kind of plots of land. So we'll see what we can come up with. Yeah, let's go ahead and clear those out. Yeah. Oh, what is this? Security camera doesn't have any power. I might just delete that, so it's not really actually doing anything anyway. I was just trying to click on this bird. Oh. In Roller Coaster Tycoon, if you clicked on the birds, or I guess ducks, that were flying over the park, they would actually honk or quack. And, or I guess maybe there were geese. Guests can't reach any of the... What? Hold on a second here. Alright, what's going on? Why are people not... Well, that doesn't make any sense, because it's got... Its head... Yeah, oh, yeah, they are! Okay, that's a bug. And then up here, restaurants, kind of within, oh well, this is just one. Okay, it's not the big building with two. But they can't reach a table? That doesn't really make any sense, but alright, whatever. Cliffside Cinema. Oh, I forgot we did this. It was a while back, but we actually built this cinema in the rock side. That came out kind of neat. Back over here, just a little place for people to come over to the cinema, where it wouldn't take up a ton of space on kind of open land. Because these are quite large for a flat ride, they do take up a fairly good bit of terrain. And I'm almost thinking maybe we could put something over here, like something small, maybe one of the towers or something like that. Would kind of be neat. Give something... something else for people to do if they come over this way, because it is kind of a long walk just to get over to the cinema. But we're boxed in pretty much on all sides. I mean, you've got the Woody coaster right back over here, comes back over that, so that's on two sides. The rock face is on the third, and then the fourth is pretty much obscured by terrain and trees and everything. So they're, other than clearing out a few of these trees, there's really not much room to work with over here. And then we also have this kind of taken up by the restroom right here. I mean, we could move that, or the other thing we could do is run a path back over this way, if we did decide to put something down and over in that area. Hey, Maria, I used to be a Viking like you, then I got a sweet roll in my knee. Good old Skyrim reference right there. What? So this has had 5 people get on it the whole time. Wow. Thought we could get a little bit more there, but yeah, okay. We've got room to do something over here. We've got the Gerstlauer over here. Guests are stuck somewhere. What? Oh, come on. Stuck in the middle of the square, can't go anywhere. Alright, let me give her a hand. There you go. Walk. I'm just going right back the direction she came from. Oh, she got a souvenir. Okay, so the bag in the hand. What do we got going on in here? Just kind of curious. We've got... Oh, this is getting a decent amount of people. And it's probably a bit better, considering the guest cap is turned up, and therefore we're getting some more people getting on this coaster, because it was really just underridden. If that's a word. I guess to say overlooked would be a good way. Just as popular variety as people weren't getting on it. Jimpers, how's it going? I have a B&M Giga I'd like you to check out. Alright. Let me save. Go ahead, drop the code. I'll get a... I guess a new sandbox park. Kind of opened up for that, because I know for a fact there's just not going to be any room to fit another Giga in that park. As much as I would love to try to get, you know... Try to get more people on that Viper. And I almost wonder if it would make sense other than the fact that I built it kind of in the existing terrain print. Kind of over those cliffs by the water where it kind of turns and does a little bit of a helix there. I would otherwise probably try to relocate that hyper or just build a new one closer to the front of the park where it would get a lot more attention. Dale, what's going on, man? What up, my favorite chocolate chip cookie pirate? Hey, I don't discriminate against cookie types. Chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, yes, I said it. That might be a bit of a hot take, but I love those. Macadamia nut. If y'all ever go to Subway, they have some of the best macadamia nut cookies, and their raspberry cheese, I think it's raspberry cheesecake, are really good. I think those are slept on. Coaster is called simply Giga, so don't get it confused with Aurora. Yeah. Alright, let me get the code here. Maybe I won't have to. Half the time you all tell me, hey, here's your code, and then it ends up being the first or maybe the second thing on the page. Publication date. What? Did this... Or no, maybe just in the last few minutes these people have just dumped a whole ton of creations. Yeah, this is it right here. I love macadamia nuts. Yeah, they're delicious. They're good for you, too. Alright, got the code. Let's get the coaster. Giga! That's B&M Giga, that's not the one. Yes, it's this one right here. It's cool, loaded up with a station, and... Holy cow! Like, good lord, you almost need 2 parks to be able to fit this whole thing. No, hold on. Something's up with this. Jimpers, help me out here, because this is, either a lot of it goes below ground, or I just had that way too low. You built it on the temporary... Alright, yeah, we're gonna switch to that. Yeah, this is not one of the larger parks to work with. It actually does have a good bit of room, but the flatland is reduced because the park boundaries go up into the mountainsides and stuff. Alright. Check out my new water park called Hell 69 High... Oh, Dale, what in the world, man? I'm not even gonna read the rest of that. Get the support footers on the ground. That should do the trick. Okay. So there's Giga. Hey, Strawberry Jam, what's going on? You caught it this time. Yeah, you did. The problem, and it's nothing against the people that make it, but the problem with these coasters being this large, it's a game mechanic, and it makes it really tough because you're kind of stuck with the coaster in the center, and it gets very difficult to get to an edge. Alright, we went a little too low. That might be a tad too high? I don't know. This is probably pretty close. Yeah, tad bit high. See, this is the problem, is with these coasters this large, you kind of have to eyeball it. And then you often end up being off a little bit. Maria, yeah. Said I wasn't gonna ride it just in case we get kids. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's right about perfect. Now let me check. I want to make sure that none of it goes underground. And we've got these right here. Actually, we just clear that out. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, it was just a tad high the first time. Oh, wait! Called it Fury 325. No way. Yeah? Holy cow. This is actually kind of a little bit of a reverse of Fury, but I want to look at this and see. Yep, because you've got that there, you've got the overbank turn. These kind of swooping low to the ground. Alright, so yeah, this is a little bit different from the treble clef. But it's close, and this actually looks really nice, like it has the, like it has most of the elements. Yeah, I've got the overbanked turn here instead of the climb up. And a spiraling and then the drop down. Ended up giving up on it and making my own thing, yeah. Bromik had said that Fury is actually a really difficult coaster to recreate. And to date, I have not found one that got the treble clef like looking right. With that said, there are some that, you know, are really close, and that the elements that they created actually work really well with the ride. But just for the visual, like, true-to-life recreation, none of them have gotten it 100%. I don't know, maybe B&M can give the blueprints to Planet Coaster? That's wishful thinking right there. I've made some perfect treble clefs in the game. I'd like to see them. I would really like to see them. I'd like to try it at some point. I think you have the Giga that I made it on. If it's not Aurora, the only other one I think would be this. Wait, yeah, that might be it here. Hold on. Alright, best park in the world right here, because we have two B&M Gigas. Are there any real roller coasters in PC2 like Steel Vengeance in PC1? No. No, I don't believe so. Oh, yeah! Yeah, that's it right there. You've got that. Yep. Yeah. I see that right there. if you look at it from this vantage point, I believe to get it to properly do the curve around the treble clef, this would actually have to come up kind of back over that way. It's really tough, but yeah, no, this is like what it should look like. You could charge $100 for entry, and it would be worth it. For 2 B&M Gigas, $100 might be a lot. And I mean, if you got other stuff in the park, of course, it'd be worth it. But honestly, you know what I would do? Is get the fast pass and just keep lapping these 2 coasters. It's like, which one do I want to go on now? Problem is, you just have to walk across the park to get on them. Alright, I want to give Fury a ride. This looks really cool. The station actually looks very similar to the one that you made for Aurora. Oh, come on. Actually, looks like you almost copy-pasted the station. It looks almost exactly the same. And that's not a critique at all, because that station just came out fantastic. And then this over here, you've got the maintenance bay, which is really cool. I've never figured out how to be able to do the maintenance bays with the tracks and the drive tires on them properly. Dale, so not a ripoff? Alright. Let's do front bumper POV. Start the test, and I'm actually going to keep the stats open for this. You know what? No, we're going to do something else real quick. Alright, Dale. I was gonna say I've got to do this for you. It's kind of hard to explain how you make the maintenance bay. Yeah, I'm curious. It would be interesting to learn. Alright, this time, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Literally. You ready, Dale? This is for you. Need a little bit of music. This is one of my favorite songs in the game. Oh man, that's gonna be a fun airtime hill. No trims. Oh wow. Oh, man, that is so much fun right there. Alright, very cool. Got a great view of the maintenance bay right here. Alright. Good stats right there. So, 7,600 feet. So this is actually longer than the real world Fury. 90, holy cow, yeah, 96.7 miles an hour. It keeps its speed throughout. The pacing on this is fantastic. Like, it really doesn't slow... Well, of course it slows down, but it really doesn't have any spots where it just seems to lose its momentum. It really keeps the pacing throughout this. Jimpers, let me theme your coasties for the next round of contests for sure. Hell yeah, brother, I love... What? What? What do you mean by butt rock? Not sure what you're going there with. I do have something else for you to check out. Well, now is the time. This is the perfect opportunity since we're already in a park looking at blueprints. So I'm not saying I wouldn't later, but this is the perfect time to. The really cool thing about this, it doesn't have a lot of steep like camelbacks for airtime hills. You've got the one right here. You've got one here. It's a little bit smaller. And then you've got some more moderate ones and stuff. But what I really like is it has a lot of low to the ground, gentle. Well, I say gentle. They appear gentle, but you're going fast. You're keeping your speed, so they actually give really good sustained floater, and it keeps its speed at the same time, which I really like that. The music is butt rock. What in the world? That's one of my favorite songs in the game, and I always like to think of like crazy lyrics, because of course the Planko language they construct, there's really not a way to... I mean, you probably could spend time and figure out exactly, like if you translate word for word, kind of what it means, but I'm always thinking like, well, something else the away, while something whatever is standing on a cup and like I don't have a clue. Just completely making up words. It just makes no sense, but I just love the way it sounds. Alright, we'll get to the code here in a minute. I do want to finish checking out the stats. Strawberry Jam, my coasters have big problems with pacing. If you feel like they lose all momentum way too quick. So there's a few different things that you can do about that. The first thing, and this is probably the easiest, but it would also likely be the least effective, is turn your friction down. The lower friction will actually help it to kind of sustain some of its speed a little bit longer. But if your coaster is designed to where it inherently is going to lose a lot of speed because you have like a ton of really tall hills back to back, your coaster is more inherent to lose its momentum like that. The other thing too, and it depends on the coaster type, of course, but certain ones are just made. Think of like a wild mouse. I ran into this problem a lot when I was trying to build that wild mouse for the tropical park, and it still sucks. But a lot of the times it would just basically stop dead on the track, or it would be crawling at a snail's pace. And that's just because I didn't profile it to actually keep enough momentum going gradually down. Trying to put too many drops in hills and stuff like that. So it does take a bit of practice. When it comes to the hypers, and I've kind of figured out with those, doing what Jimpers does, alternating some of your tall camelbacks with some smaller, like, speed hills, or some lower to the ground, like S-curves. I actually really like these banked hills that are really neat. That actually helps keep its pacing a bit. And what I'll actually do is take a look at the speed profile on this. So I'm going to go into this. We look at the rest of the stats here. Your laterals are not high at all. Verticals, that's on point, about 4.5. Your negative Gs are not super strong, but there's some pretty good airtime. Like right here, 7 airtime moments with 7.5, not quite 7.5, a little more than 7 seconds. It actually does count 2 inversions, which I disagree with, because B&M hypers don't invert. But this overbanked curve right here, because it goes beyond 9, I think it registers at either 95 or 100 degrees off level as an inversion, which I don't really think that's right. I don't think it should count until it gets to like 115 or 120. This would be the other one right there. Okay. If we go into the heat map and have the speed, it has to complete the rest of the cycle before it'll launch, or not launch, but drop off the lift. The turn after the drop and the turnaround are banked at 110. Okay, I was gonna say they looked. If I had to guess just by looking at it, I think it would have had to be like about 100. So yeah, I guess 110 is a little bit more. But even still, I mean, I don't really think that it should count as an inversion until it goes beyond like 120. But that's just me. Alright, that's coming into the brakes. This will actually run, and we can take a look at the speed profile. And it's a super fast lift hill, but you kind of need that for when your coaster is just number 1, a giga, and just also going bonkers. So it actually keeps its speed good right there. It's like 80 miles an hour coming through all of this right there, 87 right there. It keeps a lot of its momentum. Slows down at the top of the camelback, which is expected, but then it just picks its speed right back up. And every hill, keep this in mind, Strawberry Jam. Every hill needs to be successively lower than the previous one, with exception. Obviously that doesn't apply to launch coasters. The other thing is if you have a lot of small hills, then you can add a larger hill above it, but you need to keep in mind you can't build it as fast, or I mean as high as you would for a hill like right off the drop, if you're building one halfway or 2/3 throughout your layout, just because the coaster loses momentum. Why is it not showing the tags for the speed? Now it is, but it's still going 50 miles an hour all the way to the end of the ride. This slows down up there a little bit, but then it comes back around, and these low to the ground, very gradual speed hills are just awesome. Alright, gonna pause that right there while that's kind of sitting on the drive tires, and you can just see the speed throughout this thing. It keeps its speed very well. Like right here low, it's going 74, and this is after the turnaround. It's coming back this way. You're still going at 70 miles an hour. 68, 64, then you're down into the 50s, so it really does a good job keeping its speed. So when you want to go for something like that when you're building like a large-scale B&M Giga, or doesn't even have to be a B&M Giga, it could be the Intamin, what's it called? I guess just the Intamin Giga. But thinking of like I-305, or I guess Pantherian now. Millennium Force, stuff like that. And your other hyper coaster models. Now, most coasters you would do something like this. It gets a little bit different with inverts, or really any coaster with a lot of inversions. Just because instead of your hills, you're thinking of the height of your inversions, like the top of your vertical loop, your dive loop, etc. stuff. I mean, that's what Leviathan's turnaround is banked at. Is it 110? I actually did not know that. I'm struggling to think of a point that Fury actually goes beyond 90 degrees. I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. But I know Leviathan overbanks. Since I've only ridden 3 roller coasters, I don't have much real rides to go off of. That's okay. I mean, I haven't been on that many coasters. Well, comparatively. Yeah, I've been on, like, if I had to count, probably around 50 or so. But if you watch POVs and you just look at coasters, like look at coasters on... This isn't really going to sound the greatest way, but you can kind of get an idea of the layout by looking at Google Earth, if the coasters are modeled in 3D. So is Behemoth's turnaround. That makes sense, yeah. 115. Alright, let me get the code for Jimper's Woody. But I really like this. Great job with this. Mean Streak if it was a GG Coasty. I like that name. It's the same with Thunderstriker. Yeah. Yeah, you know, the last 2 times that I've gone to Carowinds... Excuse me. Dang it. Oh, man. I'm sorry about that, folks. The last 2 times I went to Carowinds, I didn't even blink at, Thunderstriker. Here we go. I just don't think it's that fun. If it's running well, it's a fun ride. And in May, I think, I went on it. It might have been April, and I went on it 3 times. The first ride, I got a front row seat, and it was mid. The second ride, I got a back row seat, and it was mid. And then in the evening, I went on it a 3rd time after it was actually pretty warm all day, and I got a front row ride, and it was actually pretty fun. But it's very temperamental. I mean, I've had a couple really good rides on it, but they don't compare anything to like the ones a better. Ooh, alright, this is gonna be a hot take. This might be a little bit too niche of a poll, but I'm gonna ask. I'm paused before I continue. Okay, yeah, thanks. Alright. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think you all kind of know what I was going to say. Alright, now it'll run the test. Thank you, Jimpers. I'm actually not familiar with Mean Streak, so I'm gonna trust your layout on this. This looks really cool right here, though. I like how that passes right above the lift hill. Kind of interesting right there. That's pretty cool. Like I said, I know nothing about the nothing about Mean Streak. Other than it's now stupid. Whoa, cool. Like kind of sideways airtime. It almost feels like an RMC, except for it's not an RMC, it's actually still a true board. so there we are. Went into the station, so yeah, that was cool. Now, if this is what Mean Streak really was, or a very, very close resemblance to what Mean Streak was, I would like to imagine that it was actually a really good coaster back in its day. I know that Mean Streak had a terrible reputation for being extremely rough before RMC came in and made it Steel Vengeance. But that's such a cool layout, and it's got some really neat elements, and I think... I would have to think that Mean Streak was a really fun coaster when it wasn't like trying to ride a jackhammer or something like that. Mean Streak was nowhere close to that. Okay, so this is really kind of your own, like, big spin on it then. Because like I said, I really don't know anything about the coaster. Alright, so split vote. One person says a bad ride on Fury is better than a good ride on Thunderstriker, and one says no. I'll go ahead and end the poll there. Mean Streak meandered around basically the whole ride with the occasional banked turn. Ah! Okay, yeah, this would be a much cooler. So what is... And I'm curious now, what is... I'm guessing probably GCI would be the closest in-game equivalent to the Gravity Group. Oh gosh, I didn't even realize we put this like right at the edge of the... The Giga actually looks like it's starting to sit on a couple of these wooden frames here. That's neat. Let me go in and see the stats for this. Come on. That's actually really good. 6,200 and change. Almost 69 miles an hour. 148 for the drop. Good amount of airtime. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like this better because I'm biased. I just absolutely love Gigas and I love Fury. I would like to see an Iron Gwazi recreation. I think there are a few on the workshop, but I didn't really look hard into you know, like downloading them and actually checking them out, stuff like that. But I know there's a few on the workshop, but that would be such a cool one to check out. Yeah, I just used the GCI coaster to make the gravity route. That makes sense. I could be wrong on this, but weren't they connected somehow? Like Gravity Group and GCI, like loosely connected somehow? Or am I wrong on that? Let me go back into here and mess around a little bit. Alright, here we are back in. Not really wrong. Oh, CCI. Okay, so it was when it was CCI then. Okay. Okay, yeah, disbanded and the engineers from CCI formed the Gravity Group. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Because I was going to say, CCI eventually... Unless I was wrong in thinking that it was CCI disbanded and then reformed to make GCI, but no, I guess they made the Gravity Group, so... Yeah. Yeah, strawberry jam. That sounds about right. That's pretty much what Jimpers said, but yes. I think we're just a couple seconds late. That's fine. No worries. Alright, let's look around here, so I gotta clear out those. Oh, hold on. Aha! The guard's gonna get him. Out! Let's get that table fixed. Salute. That just sounded like a Dracula laugh. It was like... Ah. Alright, those right there. Viva la Vegan. There's a king coaster. Dancing around on the table. I got a pickpocket. Excuse me. What? Really? There's not enough tables? Oh, so people are going to that one, but there's actually not many tables for this over here. This is turning out to be really popular. That's awesome. This was a great creation by Brawlnick. I absolutely love this. One of my favorite things about it is how he did the compass rose right down here. It just looks phenomenal. I can just imagine how much time and effort that took to put together. I could be wrong. Maybe it's actually easier than it looks, but even still, very impressive nonetheless. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, we added the piano right here. So everybody can kind of just chill and eat and listen to a little bit of live music. And we've got a... Holy cow! Okay, yeah, we've got a giant cluster of people waiting to get in line for this ride. Got the observation tower over here. It's actually, it's got a decent amount of people on it. It's maybe a little less than halfway full. Now, these things actually do hold a pretty decent amount of people. Would love to get a scenery item from the workshop, like a big flag or something like that. Put that up here. Guests can't reach a park entrance. Really? Oh, they're just... Come on! How are you trapped on the staircase? I mean, what? Alright, there you go. Let me help you all out. Now they're going to hats. Fantastic. Gonna go and buy a hat. This is the Eurofighter right over here. Live music from Casper the Friendly Ghost. Yeah, you don't actually see a pianist there. It's pretty funny. Excuse me. Just a little gunky. The weather. Man, I hope y'all are staying warm if you're in the eastern states. It's chilly. Like, this is the first real cold snap of the season, but it's early for here. Like, these are temperatures that we don't normally hit until late December, and it's only the second full week in November, and it's already getting this cold. And then it's gonna warm up, and we're gonna be like over 70 degrees by the end of the week. Just kind of wild. Oh, hey, look at that. That's full. Finally, we're actually getting like people to go on this, and it's sending out pretty decent trains. Very cool. That's a good sign. With the more people that we can get on this, because it's a popular ride. But then when they exit, they're going to go through the gift shop, and that means that people enjoy the ride. They're going to be more inclined to maybe pick up a gift, and we get more revenue that way. What are you going to work on at this park? I don't know yet. I'm kind of just going around, just looking at stuff, and, looking for maybe some trouble spots. I'm going to do something with this railroad. I thought about maybe trying my hand at a new coaster, but we'll see. See, the one thing about doing this hyper over here, it almost... Like, I mean, I don't want to take this out. A lot of effort went into this, and then Brawlmake did a really good job reworking certain elements on this. But I wish I would actually take it out this way. Up here, it's the terrain. The problem is you can't just... You just can't really get it to go low in the valleys. The terrain is so high up here. There's just not a lot of room to realistically work with. How's our curse flower doing? There's really not many people going on it still. Dang. I bet you if I pick this up and move it somewhere to the front of the park, it would be a lot more popular. Let's get somebody to take care of that there. Excuse me. Probably not going to be doing much with this park. Kind of ready to move on and do something different. I mean, not tonight, but just overall. Kind of spent a lot of time on this park and really got it filled out. Unless we just continually take stuff up and replace it with something new. But just a second here. Oops. So I just jumped on my second monitor. Thought about doing a flight sim stream today and actually didn't end up getting around to it, but perhaps some point in the next, maybe even tomorrow, perhaps, in the next few days, I might. Oh. No, wait. I'll pop up. Notice on YouTube. Okay, so we pulled up the dive and the floorless back from over here. So, you know what I'm gonna do the first thing I think I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna pause and just look at this. I think if we widen this path, maybe build it around out this direction here, and do something different with this terrain. Maybe even with the water up here. We could expand this outward. To kind of redo the path over here. I have an interesting coaster name that I'm not too sure about. Baldur's Revenge. That's actually a pretty decent name for a for like a Viking themed coaster. I think it's pretty cool. Look at this. Look at the crowd of people that want to go on the giant inverted boomerang. Only people going on that, they don't want to go on the Gerstlauer, or I mean to a lesser extent the Hyper, but just it's true too that coaster just has lower capacity. Baldur was killed by Loki. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I think that would be really neat. This is nice though, this is sending out fall trains pretty much. I mean, not really for right here, we got still some people trickling over. But it's got a good crowd of people getting on it, which is nice. Alright, what would you all... I'm gonna open up a poll. What would you like to see me build? Alright, let you all vote for a few minutes here. I just kind of look around at some stuff here. I feel like maybe we can do more with this up here. Man, people just leaving their trash on the tables. And they got all those over there. Then you come up here upstairs out to the kind of the balcony. What a view this must be over here. Oh yeah. I know, look at that. I would put the lounge chairs the opposite direction so you could look out that way. This is right here, you lounge, and you've got a big roof. Not much of a view. It almost makes sense to put that over on that side. Or to turn the lounge chairs around so you get the beautiful view out over here. Alright, so we gotta vote for a new coaster. We haven't done a new coaster in a little while, so we'll see. So if you want to vote and you haven't voted, go ahead and choose whatever option you want, and we'll go from there. Could there be a coaster there, or is it out of bounds? Where? Like, over here? Over here? So the park boundary, it kind of runs right down almost to the edge of the water here. So, like that. So you can't actually build anything out over here. You could put something up here and then it cuts back right there. Scenic view for a coaster. You'd have to put it kind of up here on this cliff side, or like have it kind of tucked back. And then you do have a little bit more terrain to work with up here. It'd be kind of tough to fit something right there. It really isn't a great spot. I mean, it would be tricky to work around. Doable? Yes. But it would be quite challenging. You'd be limited to an extent of what you'd actually effectively be able to do. There's prime real estate in another area. Yeah, kind of back over here. I don't think we're going to really end up doing much of the water park stuff. The other thing that you could do, we have a little bit of room for something out back here. I've thought about slapping another coaster down over here. That's kind of going to get a little bit cluttered. But then we've got all this terrain up here. The park boundary is high. Kind of up here, so you have all of this terrain that you could utilize. However, it's very elevated. It's sloped. Just a touch more to work with going back this way, but yeah, really not much. You could put a water coaster there, the place that you were talking about. You could, but I don't think that's really a great place to utilize, you know, something like that. I think you'd want something that goes either higher or a little bit more thrilling, just to be able to utilize the elevation and everything effectively. Because if you try to build something that's not meant to go real fast, just kind of in this low area down here, you're going to be very limited with what you can do. This would be, yeah, you know, looking at the size of it, this would actually be probably a good place to be able to fit something small like a Gerstlauer. Something like that. It really would, but you're just, yeah, it is a cool place, but you're just limited with what you effectively could do. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are much better at coasters than me, who actually could make something really good within that footprint. Like Brawlmaker Jimpers, I think I think they would not have any problems doing that. But I'm not really the best coaster builder, so I don't think I'd have an easy go at that. Let me cook. Haha, band player, go for it. Haha, what's going on, man? Alright, let's take a look at what kind of coaster maybe we want to make. And keeping in mind with what we already have in the park. Upload the thingy and you can make a coaster. The park is uploaded, it's on my workshop. Let me get you the code for the park. It's going to be an older version. But that space back there should basically be untouched. Yeah, let me go to that. Oh, come on. Oh, here it is. Alright, so that's the code right there. Again, keep in mind it is an older version of the park, but it should be fine for what you want to do. Alright, get out of that there. Resume. And let's see what we want to make. While keeping in mind what I already have in the park. Got the invert. Don't need a flying coaster. We already have that. We already have a hyper. B&M looper. No. Oh, we could do a stand-up. That'd be kind of wild. Excuse me. Man, as it's getting colder and later, and I'm just starting to get kind of congested. It's all the... I want it themed. yes. You don't have to go all out on the theming. But I would like a little bit of theming. Or, if you just want to make the coaster, I can theme it after the fact. It's up to you. The only thing I would tell you about the theming is just don't make it like tropical themed in the Viking Park, but that kind of goes without saying. Although I've seen people actually do that. I'm not saying people here have done it, but I've seen people on other channels. We already have the RMC, we got a Woody. Show where you want it. I believe Strawberry Jam was talking about kind of this cutout area over here. It'd be cool to fit something kind of within that. The terrain kind of slopes a bit. You could, depending on what you make, you could utilize this up here. But it would be... It might be tough to implement that. Just whatever you do, don't modify the terrain to build the coaster. Because when it comes time for me to put the blueprint in the park, we made $1 million today. Holy cow. We're rich. Do I want a hybrid? No, because I already have a hybrid. Otherwise, I would have said yeah. One of these, Intamin wing coasters would actually be really neat, but they take up so much space. You need to raise your prices? You know the funny thing about it, I'll actually show you. You know what I did? Is just turn up the entrance ticket price, and then everything else is just set to the default. But if we go in here, actually, I'll just go into it from this page here. Full price. All of your guests willing to pay $119. Here's the weird thing. People will pay $27 to get a pool pass to go in 3 pools, but they'll only pay $279 for a priority pass to get on all the coasters. What coaster model do I want? Yeah, so I'm not terribly picky about coaster type. I would say I like to go with something that I don't already have in the park. But I'll leave that up to you. Just you see what I... Oh, well, to be fair, there's a couple things that are in this that I don't have in the version that you have. So I have the mine train. I should probably upload the newer version of this park, the current one. I'll show you what I do have, and then you can choose from like whatever's remaining that you think would be a good fit. So I've got the mine train, B&M invert. I've got the hyper. This is the Zero Junior coaster. This is the Vekoma inverted boomerang. Just list one, I'll let you choose. Alright, I'll look through it. Let me see. I already have 2 ghost flowers, so not that. I'm struggling to choose, man. Something that's compact enough to fit in that area. How about the Schwarzkopf? The Anton looping song. Just a basic Schwarzkopf looper. We don't have like an old school style looping coaster in the park, and those can be built in relatively compact footprints. So that could be a fun option. Try that. I know it's a little basic, but I love the old style. And then for the one that I'm gonna build, probably over here, let's go with... I'm gonna open this one up for a poll. Actually, you know what? Why don't I make 2 coasters? Go for it! Yeah, that's fine. Can I upload this version of the park? Yes. Just give me a minute. You can see what you're working with. Yeah, that way you'll have the most up to date. We could fit something pretty decent sized over here. Alright, so there's the poll. Let me save this, and I will upload it. Hey, Foggy, I appreciate that. Alright, band players, same code as before. So just go in and download it, or if you already did, then just go back into your workshop. And, so basically, for example, if you go into your subscriptions, and you have the list of everything installed, there'll be a little icon that just says update available, so just click on it, and then it'll tell you, like, update. I think update would appear, like, above here, or something like that. Vekoma tilts might legit be the future of roller coasters. You know what? I hope not. And here's my reasoning for that. They are cool. However, we need to look at the reliability of these coasters that have all of these different gimmicks. So, like, switch tracks, the tilt, just with a lot of moving parts. Any one little thing to go wrong, can take the ride down. Whereas if you go with the old style of rides that really have nothing beyond a chain lift and then a bunch of hills, they are more reliable. They're less prone to breaking down, stuff like that, because there are many fewer parts that are bound to fail. I'm with an Aero 4D that has a bunch of terrain effects like Alpengeist. Still a prototype so far. Give it a few years, yeah. I think they're going to be able to make some cool stuff, but I don't want to see, and it's not, I'm not being specific to the Vekoma Tilt coasters. I'm being more general to all of these kind of new, I'm going to say gimmicky, and I don't mean that to sound as flippant or harsh as it does, but all of these coasters with these kind of interesting effects and stuff like that, due to, like, reliability and other things like that. And also, oh, this thing broke down. Ah! I just saw it rock back and forth. These people got a little bit of a swing. They're all like, uh-oh, we're stuck in the air on this chain, or on the chairlift. Oh boy. I wish we could switch these out for... Yep, it's moving again. Holy cow! It started moving, and the thing rocked back and forth a bit. It's like, wow. Like, we've seen a bunch of hydraulic launch coasters either get retrofit or SBNO or defunct. Yeah. Yep. And LSMs have really taken over when it comes to that. However, that leads me to another point, is the LSMs themselves have reliability issues at times. So, I know most of you have heard me say, there might be a couple people here that haven't, but Carowinds is my home park. And my favorite ride at the park, obviously, Fury 325. My second favorite is Copperhead Strike, and that might be a little bit of a hot take for some people, but I just absolutely love it. But freaking Copperhead Strike this spring had so much downtime because it kept getting stuck. They actually had to evacuate riders a couple times. And it would get stuck. It would either get stuck on the launch, or it wouldn't get enough speed and would actually roll back. And it took forever for them to get that. You know, probably a good month for them to get the LSM fixed. And we're seeing the same thing with Cheetah Hunt down at Busch Gardens. It's been closed for, I think, about a month. Maybe longer, maybe not quite as long. I don't remember exactly. Dealing with the LSMs. And that's Intamin. Now, Mach, from what I've heard, usually. And, of course, with Copperhead Strike being a Mach rides. And I've heard that Mach usually does a little bit better of a job, but Intamin, they're having issues with that. And it's not the first time it's happened with Cheetah Hunt. Look at a lot of the old LIM coasters that had reliability issues. Think of, what was it, Batman and Robin out at Six Flags Great Adventure. Man, does anybody remember those two coasters? Those were a big thing back in, like, the late 90s, I think. And they barely lasted, I think, 10 years. Or 12 years or something like that. They were a maintenance nightmare. So, I say it's a little bit old school, but give me the old, you know... Give me your hypers. They're crowd pleasers. They're enthusiast pleasers. They're relatively easy. I mean, they're expensive, for sure, just because of the sheer scale of those coasters, but they're pretty easy to keep going. Give me the old B&M inverts. RMC, I think, is one. That's a relatively new manufacturer that actually has pretty good reliability. And then if you can keep some of your woodies in good condition, then that's a good option. You could do Titan track. RMCing woodies is a fantastic idea. But you know what? This is gonna be a little bit of a kind of a little bit of a take out of left field. But I hope I'm not alone in this. I would love to see B&M just come up with some new sit-down looping coasters. They don't even have to be floorless. They don't have to be the wing coasters. They don't have to be stand-up. Just give me some good old B&M sit-down twister looper coasters. Like Kumba and Dragon Con. I think overall Vekoma is going to become a big thing based on how it is going right now. Absolutely, 100%. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We'll do the Vekoma tilt. I actually haven't really done one of these before, so we'll see. I'm going to pipe this water out. And we'll do terrain work here in a bit. I just kind of want to seal this up so it's less of a distraction while I'm actually trying to build in this footprint here. Or, I don't know if band player is actually planning on building in this big open plot. Maybe there's room to do something over here. Or maybe like over here. I'd thought about putting the floorless coaster back over here. But, yeah, anyway, Strawberry Jam, I fully agree with you. So, Vekoma. Nah? Oh, so you're not going to build something there. That second thing might work. Okay, yeah, so you're not going to build in this big open plot, then I'll go ahead and throw a tilt there. Alright, so we'll just have to figure out kind of where we want to place the station, and I'm honestly thinking it's going to be just out over here. We'll fix that path, we'll build out this way to it. Oh, you know what? Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. Let me get out of that, add the water back. This is the way that I tell if my water's at the right height, which it looks like it is. But when that coaster goes through this vertical loop here, the people's feet should be just above the water. If it is, we know we're right. A percent of the Vekoma tilt. Perfect. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, that's right there. Alright, there we go. So, anyway, I don't know if you watch Airtime Thrills, but when he was doing a video about the, he did a video quite a while ago about the worst manufacturers. And he said, Vekoma would be on my list if I was making this 10 years ago, but they've gotten so much better since then. And yeah, Vekoma's really becoming a rising star in the coaster world. Its reputation no longer relies on things like boomerangs and SLCs and stuff like that. Did you know Vekoma was using that old aero track style until like 2017? I did not realize it was that recent that it switched. But yeah, I do remember Vekoma using the old. I think Vekoma might overtake B&M after the Rough Ride expensive coaster issues. Yeah, I would say it always seems like Vekoma actually comes in with coasters at lower prices than B&M. And I think part of that just though, look at the types of coasters that B&M is building, with a couple exceptions such as Penguin Trek and those B&M family inverts, which the only one that I've been on those is Phoenix Rising at Busch Gardens, and it wasn't a bad coaster. The rattle wasn't that bad. But gosh, I mean, Penguin Trek, I did it. The first half, I'm like, well, this rattle's not too bad. I think people are blowing it out of proportion. And then we hit the second half, and I was like, holy cow, nope. Nope, they're definitely right. This is terrible. I walked off that coaster with a massive headache. The rattle on the second half of that thing was that bad. And I had a front row seat. I can't imagine how it was in the back. I think Intamin will always be on top still. All of their models are top tier. Even their family coasters are amazing. I think, in terms of from a manufacturing standpoint, yes. But Intamin's reputation has suffered on... I mean, particularly the whole thing with the Cedar Fair after I-305 and... Oh gosh, Maverick? When they had the issues with those at Cedar Fair parks, and it just seems like they really kind of lost out. But I don't think that was enough to really set them back that far, so I'm sure they're going to be fine. The thing is, Intamin, I think, just has such a good variety of stuff. So, if you go into here, and that video, I need to look it up. But the video where somebody actually did an overview of all of the real-world coaster manufacturers and models in-game. Intamin and B&M were tied for the second most. Vekoma had the most. So, Cedar Fair has some of the best Intamins on the planet. They do, but when they built I-305 and the GP just was kind of shying away from it for how intense it was at first, and then I'm pretty sure the same thing with Maverick up at Cedar Point, that was just way too intense for some people, and or it had that Heartline roll. I'm pretty sure Airtime Thrills did a video on it, and it just seemed after those coasters that Cedar Fair just really shied away from adding new Intamin coasters. Was that TH Designs for the PC2 rides? It might. Let me look it up. Yes, it was. I'm gonna... Don't autoplay on me, come on. Alright. This is a fantastic video. It's... I don't do this very much. But I'm gonna actually post this. Hopefully it shows up. It should, since I'm posting it, because I've got the rights to, there are the privileges on the chat to do all the stuff that normally you wouldn't be able to do, like post links and stuff. But I highly recommend you all go check that out if you haven't already seen it. It is a fantastic video, and he analyzes all of the different coaster types in game, their real-world manufacturer equivalent, which some of them are pretty obvious, like B&M, Audimax, Intamin, but some of the more obscure ones. And then they actually, he goes over all of the different models and kind of what their the real-life equivalent was. And it's really cool. I actually learned a couple things, stuff that I really did not know that there was much of a difference between on some of them. This is really neat. I highly recommend you all go check that out. It's a fantastic video. Alright, going up here. I don't know how tall I should make this. Jimper's nose coaster is better than I do. Would, like, 110 feet? 120? For these tilt coasters, I mean, should it be taller, or is that about a right height? I'm not going for something bonkers. Go 110. That tilt track will go up probably about 130. Yeah, so tops out about 115. Or hear me out, he makes it a strata. I'm not making it a strata. No! I'll give it a little bit of momentum here. Okay, so that actually... can make people sit there for 10 seconds. Holy cow. Give it a 3-second launch. Okay. Can we go beyond? Nope. Oh, you actually can. You can go beyond vertical with this. Should we do that? Let me turn the banking offset on. keep it vertical? Okay. Screaming squirrel type beat. Nah, we're not doing that. Not for this. Going beyond, we'll have the drop pull like 5.5 Gs. Oh, okay. So I said 90 degrees, so we'll just stick with that then. And we'll probably start leveling it out here. And down to 80. 70. This is one of the best changes they've made, is being able to do like a single degree angle snap. Because it used to be those kind of old, or not old, odd fractions and stuff, which just didn't make a lot of sense. Alright, and I think we're going to have to make it a little more gradual. Or not more gradual, but actually, tighten it up a little bit. So yeah, let's actually do this. So that's at 80. So I'm going to make that actually 75. We'll go to 60. And then we can make it more gradual here. 50. $15. 0, and it's right there at ground level. That works out. Alright. And I'm not trying to make this anything like super large, long, crazy fast. So I'm thinking a few, like 3 or 4, maybe 4 inversions. Be kind of something like a I mean, you could do something like a dive loop, or we could do like a sidewinder. Oh gosh, that'd be brutal right there. Ha! Perfectly round vertical loop. Wow, it's going old school. Alright, somebody in chat, give me an inversion. First one that shows up in chat is the one that I'm going to build. (1920s) loop. Death roll. Can't do a death roll on this. It's too low to the ground. Devil's Knot? Airtime pop into Cobra roll. Oh, the Devil's Knot was first. Because I want to get the train going back this direction here. Instead of a Cobra roll, you know what we could do is the Sea Serpent, which is basically a Cobra roll except the second half is backwards. Not backwards, but kind of the opposite. And so it actually, you exit in the same direction that you were traveling when you entered into it. As opposed to going back the way you came. If that makes sense. I'm thinking right here. Maybe we'll start to kind of reduce the turn radius a little bit. I want to send it back this direction here. Sea Serpent would be good, give an older feel. I want to go right here with a... maybe a really drawn out, kind of a heartline roll. So we're going to actually level that out that way. Kind of maybe even make a 0G stall instead of a roll. Go 180. And we're just gonna let it hang. Like that. And then we can either roll it out continued that direction, or we can actually roll it out the same direction that they entered in. And I think it's going to depend on how we want to profile the next turn. So I'm actually going to take it back the other direction. Alright, and this is where I'm going to rely a little bit on jimpers to make sure I'm not doing something completely wrong here. Basically roll the banking out there. And actually we could do a helix out that direction, but I'm thinking what we'll do is the Sea Serpent over here, have it come around. Let me see if we go into this. It's not it right there. Yeah, here it is. Sea Serpent. And that's going to be much too tall. We can't make it any... oh gosh. Alright, well that's in the way of the demonic knot. However, if we actually space it back a little bit, then we're gonna make this drop out a bit here. What is that rolled at? That's what we want. kind of a little bit of a hump. Roll it out even. Right there. Now if we... Oh, come on. Offset there. Did that track interfere? Oh, it actually does not, just barely. The thing is, I'm not really sure that that's gonna work, given the height. We got one way to find out. If it doesn't, then we'll switch it out for something else. It'd be kind of nice to get that to work, though, to reposition it. Then we can just do some like pops of airtime and a helix or something like that over here. Because these aren't supposed to be like super... Well, they're not supposed to be, I should say. More that they're not necessarily... They don't have to be super long rides. They don't have to be loaded, littered with inversions and elements. Go with a long train for that. Come on. Made it through that. The hang time at the top of that. But I feel like this is a bit too sharp. I think it loses. It honestly might need it might need trims. And then after that, it will not make it through that. We would probably need to turn down the friction. So I don't really know. I feel like that's probably just going to be a bit too intense. It'd really be nice to keep the Sea Serpent element right here. The other option is we could have it go underground. Kind of. Partially underground, kind of like a tunnel out. And it's keeping enough speed that it would be able to come back up and do like helices and just some bunny hills for airtime and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. That's just going to be a bit too forceful. So maybe what I'll do is make it a drawn out. Inverted top hat now. JoJo roll, 0G roll. It actually doesn't have a 0G stall option in this list. Interesting. Alright. You know what, because I do see that, that's carrying way more speed than I think it really needs to. Or way more speed than I thought it would. I say it needs to carry that speed. But I definitely want to make this a little bit more gradual. So we'll go. Maybe something like that. That's a bit more gradual. It also gives a little bit more room to add in another element. Alright, and here's what we'll do. So we get a 15-degree... or 60. So we're going to go 90 degrees. Keep it on that incline. We're going to lower it to 10. No, actually we're going to keep it at 15. Until we roll completely. Now we'll roll to 180. And we'll lower that 10 degrees. Next portion on to 0. Now to minus 10. Or we can actually make that longer. So by keeping that at 180, and we'll raise that back to 15. Now we'll keep it flat. Go to, or keep it not flat, but I mean completely, perfectly upside down. 10, 5, 0, minus 5, minus 10, that is a long 0G stall. I actually like it. And it's back at minus 15. I want to watch the profile through this turn. That's definitely a bit better. Look at how it carries its speed through that. It's really neat. Alright, now that it's banked a little bit steeper, now we'll start rolling out. So we're going to go 150. $120. We can actually steepen that drop a little bit. 90. Roll that out to about 60 there. Ah! Not mean to do that there. Keep that kind of curving around. I'm not totally sure. No, I don't want it to turn. Alright. So we might have to reprofile this drop here a little bit. Maybe not make it so steep. Maybe like that first. And we can tunnel that out just a little bit. Let's see if we could do the sea serpent. Let's see how that does. $73 feet. I don't know if that's gonna have enough. I think that does okay. So let's level that off. Bring it up a bit. Give it a little more banking. That's good enough. Start to turn upward, and then kind of just some like turns, maybe some S curves, pops of airtime, kind of coming back into the. I want to get my final brakes set up first. So we're gonna do drive tires right here. We're gonna do 45 degrees this way. We'll do another set there. Blocks. Oops. Block section there. Just friction brakes there. Should I make the station longer though, so we can get more than 4? So I think this is what, 4 cars? Is that like, cause I don't know much about these. Is that about right, or should it be like 5 cars? Something tells me it should probably be 5. Let's look back at out of station section. Now it's a 6 car. Gee, wait. Alright, hold on. We add that station piece. Yeah, that's higher capacity. Enjoy your looping sun model. Alright, I will check that out in just a couple minutes here. Appreciate that. Alright, so if we go with that there. The cool roll is supposed to go over the path near the wooden coaster. Okay. Alright, Ah! Come on. The guide is in the photo. Alright, yeah, give me a couple minutes. I want to get this. Block brakes here. Friction brakes I actually like these angled brake runs. Actually allow for a little more of perhaps a pop of airtime up here. So we'll try to build into that somehow. And we're pretty boxed over here, so we're gonna have to leave plenty of room over here for the queue, the ride plaza. I imagine it would branch this way. People would go this way to come in over here, so we don't want to take up too much space over here. All of this over here, fair game. Abruptly level that off, give it some air time. Could probably make a curve. No, that's gonna take us too close. Dang. Alright, so let's go back here. I'm gonna actually take a break from that. We're getting there. I think we're starting to kind of figure something out here. Alright, let's... That's it right there. Alright, let's check it out. Oh, you're updating it? Oh, okay. Yeah, just let me know and I'll... Try now. Okay. Well, I'll have to go back into the workshop and get the update. Actually, I'm just going to do this. This is easier because I see it. It shows right up in the list. Let me just get a little bit better of a view of the picture. So that's kind of going to corner out that way. I get the arches go over that. Looks like that lines up about there. Okay. I think I've got a good idea. I turned that off, I could see it a little bit better. And it basically looks kind of like it would go like that. Alright, that's... The only thing that does is just makes the arch completely open. Alright, let's give this a ride. It looks interesting. It's got one of those curved drive tire lifts, which is pretty neat. And then just the regular. Whoa. Got a little airtime going up over that. And then this really neat 0G roll right over the path. And into the station. Alright. That's cool. Actually did a good job of fitting that in. It's a little bit on the short side, but these were never really, like, large-scale coasters. But, like, I was like, man, it's already over. I want more. This was really neat, actually. The one thing about these Schwarzkopfs, you know, it's interesting that they actually let you do this. I mean, otherwise, if you build it by hand, of course, you can build pretty much whatever track pieces you want. But on these Schwarzkopfs, you never really saw any inversions beyond loops. Yeah, they were meant to travel. A lot of the times they did, but a lot of parks actually got, you know, purpose-built. So, the Roller Coaster Tycoon series actually did limit you. Hold on, I want to check this out right here. This whole time I've had that there and I haven't even noticed that these people are probably getting their feet chopped off right here by this. Oh my gosh. These poor folks riding this. Oh man, we're gonna have to probably move that for purposes of realism and saving these people's feet. Yeah, but anyway, when I was coming in to look at that, kind of down here, the the Roller Coaster Tycoon series actually limited the track pieces that were available to you based on the type of coaster and what it realistically did or did not incorporate. And I kind of liked that for the purpose of realism. That way you can't do zero-G rolls on a Schwarzkopf, or just thinking hypothetically, you can't do like a dive loop on an arrow, you know, on an arrow looper model, with the exception of the later models. I think Tennessee Tornado has a dive loop, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But the cool thing about this game not letting you, or not limiting you, and letting you build those, is that you can do really cool stuff on these different coaster types that you ordinarily would not expect. And so this is really neat. I love the way this arch is set up right over the footpath there. So you've got the airtime, and then you've got the zero-G roll that comes right up over that footpath, which is really neat. No. Actually, you know what? We can open this. Although we'll just have to... We'll come up with a name and paint it later. Place entrance? What? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong coaster. I thought I clicked this. I thought I did. Alright, it's ready to open. Yeah, let's just name it and color it now. I'm not sure that I'm going to finish the Vekoma Tilt tonight. I'm trying to think of a name for it. I kind of want to incorporate this, because this is kind of a feature of the coaster, and kind of combine that into a Viking theme. How about Valhalla's Arch? Alright, we're not going to make people pay $12 to get on that. Already paid $120 to get into the park. Alright. No. This is running standard. Hold on. Gotta shut it down. Block section. No, it will not let you... Really? Oh, you probably didn't add any brakes on this. Oh, you did. These are block brakes. Alright, so here, I'm gonna actually rework this just a little bit right here. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take that back. We're gonna build right here. And I'm gonna do just a small section of blocks. And then we're going to do friction. Won't let you. It will let you do trims. Right here. What about your Baldur's Revenge idea? I wasn't thinking about that for this one. I had actually thought about that for the tilt. And let's see, that should help, and maybe now it'll let you run. No, we need a second block section. Now brakes didn't really help on that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of a short ride. But I'm a much bigger fan of 2-train ops if you can have it. So, I mean, if there's a way that we could set that up. So here's what I'm gonna do. Small block. Do a block right there, and they can... Oh, trees in the way! Oh gosh. And now it lets you run 2 trains. Perfect. Alright. We'll give it a test. You know what I think it is this doesn't count as a block because it's drive tires and not the chain lift. Because the chain lift will stop the train to prevent it from the next section. But the drive tires will not. So that's, I think, why we had to do that. Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's give this some color. I think we're actually going to go with like a deep blue. Let's go back to silver for that. Is negative 25G too extreme for my 700-foot tall wooden coaster? Yes, negative 25G will probably kill people. A 700-foot tall, you'd have to make, you know, reprofile those hills or something to be extremely long and gradual. That's not too bad. Alright, let me grab a view of the coaster car real quick here, so we'll pause and just take a look. Okay, so this is going to be the stripes on the front, so we're going to make this brown. And maybe kind of grayscale a little bit. I like that there. Now we're going to go with a deeper brown for that. Almost like chocolate. we're going to go with a red fire brick. Area 3 is going to be the seats. And we could do that. We could do that. We could go with white. We could go with... Ah! We could go with blue. Blue doesn't make sense for the seats. Honestly, I think we'd have to match that. We could go with the even darker red. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. I don't know if you all heard that. Hope not. Also, is there a Discord? I don't have one. You know, though, people are telling me, make a Discord. Maybe I should. Oh gosh. Alright, I'm gonna have to custom paint these. So, well, actually, you know what we could do is click. Oh, come on. It's just the scenery group itself and change the colors that way, but I'm not sure that it will get everything. Oh, it actually did. And they're matched up, so there. How about that? Alright, let's go ahead and open it up. Alright, well, we've got a facility that needs to be sanitized. Ooh! Let's get that taken care of. I don't know how I got the wooden coaster to invert. I have limits on. Is some of your wooden coasters can invert? They're all like, no, we're not going in there. It's too dirty. Well, we'll get it taken care of, though. I know the coaster's incomplete. Alright. Oh, the banking offset reset. Really? Let's fix that. Let's see. Kind of cut back that way. Arch up around, maybe another couple pops of airtime and have it kind of come back up like that. I don't know. We've always got, you know, chance to redo some of this. Oh, we're gonna make this pretty extreme though. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's just see kind of how it does overall. Alright. So we'll need to do a little bit of smoothing here. So we'll go to this section first here. Forward. Now we'll run it backward. We'll have to select that other track. And then pull that back here. Run it backwards a few times. I hope it didn't screw up the profile of that 0G stall, because I'm going to be kind of mad. Put a lot of work into that. It looks like it did okay. Good. And then after the Sea Serpent, we go that. Forward. Rest of that. And then I run backwards right here. And let's go. See how it does. Okay, it does kind of sit a bit low on the ground here in a couple spots. So let's do a little bit of quick terrain work. Don't need to do too much. Auto paint, I want sampled. Same thing right back up here. Just that tad. And we can get creative with any fencing. Some other terrain. Definitely some scenery. That'll be for another night. I'm going to finish this coaster up and then get off for the evening. And I should be back on tomorrow. I'll probably be doing some flight sim at some point tomorrow. Be looking forward to that. There's that. That there is okay. No, yeah, it's right here. We gotta do some additional. Come on. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Well, let's give this a test run. Just out of curiosity, we'll see how it does. Yeah, hold on. Two trains. Edited the coaster since it was too extreme? Yeah. I was gonna say, that sounds a bit harsh. Negative 25 Gs. Oh, it probably gave you the indicator your coaster is too extreme or too scary for riders or something like that. I've had that happen. Alright. And let's see here. Oh, the excitement goes up so much. Oh, look at the fear skyrocketing as that thing tilts. Well, yeah, I hope we don't roll off the tipper track. The old one was running too slow, so I made the new one 116 miles an hour. Oh my gosh! Oh, those demonic knots are crazy. Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's a wild ejector right there. Yeah. That might be a little bit too intense. I don't know. That looked a little harsh. Well, maybe not. Maybe not too bad. Alright, let me get off the ride. So, yeah, the lats are too high. The G-forces, I suppose, aren't too terrible. That there, 4.9 and -1. The laterals, probably right here. Or a bit too harsh. It's manageable, though. Now I've made the drops better profiled, so it's -44. Oh my gosh, you're like you're trying to torture people. Strawberry Jam's coasters are banned by the Geneva Convention. Oh man, what are you trying to do? Like, that just sounds just much too brutal. Alright. It's... Man, I've been on for 2.5 hours. Holy cow. Oh, time has flown. Well, cool. So we have a new coaster. We have another new coaster that's not running yet. I'm not totally happy with that, how that came out. It's not bad, but I think it could be better. Might be worth opening. Wait. You guys haven't made a coaster that pulls -380 Gs yet? Well, that's coming from the guy who says he always tries to make his coasters as realistic as possible. I didn't like the cost, so I made it a side friction coaster. Ah. They're not going to stay on the track. One time I made a coaster that pulled 580 or so laterals. Wow. Let's see what this is doing. How much of a line does this have? Oh, it's a pretty decent amount. Hey, but look at all these people crowding the vending machines. It's like people sitting down and then people crowding the vending machines. So people that just want to go to the gift shop or get back on the coaster can't. That's full. That's pretty cool. Let's see. I want to check on this and see how it's rated. The reputation is dated. It should switch soon, but it should. We've got people getting on it though, so that's good. After trying it, I thought it was a tad bit boring, so I added 10 inversions. You know what? That's gotta be a fun contest sometime. We'll have to do, like, make a coaster that's just ludicrous. That would be a challenge, kind of like, and a somewhat realistic, but something kind of goofy. Would be create a roller coaster with the most inversions possible, but you're limited to only one lift hill, no launches. So it's got to be able to have enough momentum to get through all of your inversions, just from that one lift hill by the speed alone. So. How's our invert? Oh, by the way, T3 sucks! That kid on the video, or guy, I guess, screaming that. Look at the line! It's actually all the way out to here. This always has a long line. It's crowded. Hey, look at that! Look at the line for the Gerstlauer. This one. Eurofighter. Wow. Boy, people are waiting a fair bit of time for that. 12 minutes. Does have the priority queue. Let's see about this one here. Oh, you know what? We need to adjust the station timings for this. It's a 44-second ride. So we're gonna go any load. 20-second. And then we'll cap that at 40. Oh, as previously mentioned, let's move this. I'm really not trying to, do we actually need to move the... Alright, now we're gonna pick the whole thing up. And let's move it to this side. Alright, people won't chop their feet anymore. Ah, there we go. I once made an aero looper that went 280 miles an hour and pulled 1,200 Gs. Oh, man. That's a bit brutal. I still have to figure out what to do with that tilt coaster there. But, alright, I think it's time for me to go ahead and jump off. It's almost 10 now in the evening, so I'm gonna head off and get some rest and get a couple things done before then. So I'll be back on tomorrow, most likely. Probably do this for a bit. I'm not totally sure what I plan on working on. I'm thinking about maybe another showcase night, to be honest, but I need enough stuff to look at, so. Alright, band player, have a great evening. Thanks. And, yeah, great job on this, too. On the, arrow back here. Or, not the arrow, the Schwarzkopf, sorry. Yeah, that's cool. Like the way that came out. I love the way the arch looks right up over here. It's a really good presentation. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna pick back up probably tomorrow evening. I do plan on also doing some flight sim. So if you all want to check that out. Yeah, it's not a guarantee, I have not fully decided on that, but I would like to try, since I'll have time tomorrow. You have future roller coaster engineers in your chat? Heck yeah! Uh-oh, hold on. It is not too late to hang on a minute for... Who broke it? Hold on. It's got to be one of these people over here. No? Someone's getting a telling off. Oh, they might have got caught. Oh, it was this guy right here. Out! He's already going home. Low-key Strawberry, you should check out my main part. Yeah, I can attest to that. He's done a real cool job with that. Alright, all the vandals are getting kicked out. Alright, now we can rest. So, on that note, we'll catch you all here hopefully tomorrow. And until then, as always, you all take care, stay safe, and we'll see ya.